So how's it going, bosses? Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Now last week, in fact on Friday, late Friday, I received a very special shipment from a brand new perfumer based in the UK, Aaron Terence Hughes. He sent me his whole collection, so I've got 7 fragrances here to try. Now yesterday I wore Oud, so I'm going to be doing a review of that one right now, and I'll be reviewing these ones in the near future. So I'll be back in just a second with my review of his Oud. So welcome back, you're watching the Luxury Fragrance Boss channel. My name's Scott, of course I am the Luxury Fragrance Boss, so thank you for joining me for another review. Today I've got something very special from a brand new perfumer based in the UK. Now a couple of weeks ago, Aaron Terence Hughes reached out to me. He had spotted me on Instagram and seen a couple of my reviews and contacted me to ask if I'd like to review his fragrances. I thought I'd love to test, I'd love the opportunity to try them out. What I wasn't expecting though is he sent me 7 full bottles. So I've got 7 50ml bottles, which is the only size that his fragrances come in, instead of samples, which I thought was a really nice gesture. So very generous guy right off the bat. Very nice guy as well. I've been chatting with him quite a bit. But yeah, I was really interested in trying out his fragrances. He's told me quite a bit about them while we've been waiting. Unfortunately, it's taken about a sort of week and a half. It took quite a while to get them out. That's the problem with living in a tiny little Caribbean island. It takes forever and a day to get absolutely anything here, regardless of what it is, even though it's only coming from the UK. Sometimes things arrive in a couple of days, sometimes they take about a month, sometimes longer than that. But yes, so I was very excited to receive these. Very last thing on Friday. I had to go to DHL to go and pick them up. But yeah, first impressions though, I've sniffed all of them out of the bottle and they all smell absolutely incredible. Even the rose, many of you will know that I'm not a big fan of rose, but I don't know what it is, but the rose extract that he's using, or sorry, the rose, he uses Turkish rose, which smells incredible on its own. So, I mean, that's, as I said, many of you will know that I'm not the hugest fan of rose, but I've found certain rose notes that don't agree with me. I'm happy to say that most of well, all of these do happen to agree with me. But yeah, let's get on to the Oud now. I have to say, this is one of the best Ouds that I've ever smelt. And it's also one of the longest lasting ones as well. It's a really leathery smelling Oud. The one I can probably compare it closest to, if you are a fan of Acqua di Parma's Colonia Oud, if you imagine dropping off the citrus notes a little bit, adding in a lot, I'd say a lot of leather into that and dropping off the citrus, I'd say this is what you're gonna get. Something that's quite interesting as well, in this one, he's got, there's some Animalic notes in there that make it incredibly sexy. As the day went on, I mean, I really started to enjoy this one. And that Animalic note, it is a little bit different. To me, it smells, it's hard to sort of put this really, but it smells tiny bit like vinegary, for want of a better sort of description, but it's in such a good way. It smells like really sexy with it. I'm not quite sure how to sort of place it, but yeah, I mean, it's a really leathery Oud with a tiny sort of, I'd say, acidic or vinaigrette kind of edge to it, but it's done so well and it's blended so incredibly well. I really did enjoy this. Now, as far as longevity goes, this is an absolute powerhouse. I can put this up with some of the best ones that I've got for longevity. If you compare it to sort of the longest ones I've got, like Interlude, Halfeti, and I think, well, Aventus. They're the longest ones I can think of off the top of my head out of my collection. This one, I mean, this one was still going really strong. To give you some idea of how strong, or not how strong, it is quite strong Oud. I'd say you're probably looking at about 3 or 4 feet of projection, and that's pretty much the whole time that you're wearing it. My wife could still smell it really strongly this morning. Now, just to give you some idea, I went to the golf range yesterday. I was a little bit sort of worried about wearing it to the golf range because obviously it's like 90 odd degrees here. So I went off to practice my golf for a couple of hours and I was absolutely dripping with sweat. I know I'm not painting the prettiest picture, but absolutely dripping, and I was obviously toweling off a lot. However, this stuff didn't get really touched. Normally I would sweat out a lot of fragrances in that kind of heat and you wouldn't smell them after that. This one, it was as if I'd sprayed it on sort of 2 minutes ago, even 7 o'clock last night, long after I'd sort of been to the range and sweated out probably half my body weight in sweat. So, I mean, it's absolute killer when it comes to longevity. As I said, the projection for an oud as well is pretty strong. I normally find, I mean, Acqua di Parma's Colonia Oud is probably one of the stronger ouds I have, but mostly ouds tend to be, especially leathery ouds as well, they tend to be a little bit more toned down. But yeah, I mean, if you are looking for something a little bit special and it is going to stand out, like I say, this one is really, really leathery. I would say this was a leathery fragrance more so than an oud. Just to go over the notes of this one. So in the top notes is leather. In the middle notes, you've got amber and Turkish rose. And in the base notes, you've got patchouli, Burmese oud, musk, and animalistic sex. So, I mean, Aaron Terence Hughes himself said the basis for this one is it smells like good sex. And I would have to say there is something very, very sexy about it. I wouldn't say it smells like good sex. I'd say, I mean, it's definitely sort of a very, very sexy leathery smell is the best way that I can describe this one. But well worth checking out. I think one of the best value ouds as well, £145. I think they're only available in a couple of stores so far in the UK. I believe it's available in Bloom Perfumery. Unfortunately, I can't remember the name off the top of my head of the other one, but it's also available on his own website as well, which is aaronterencehughes.co.uk. I'll put a link down below. But yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts on this one. So, I mean, fantastic start to the house. Tonight, I'm going to be wearing one that smells absolutely incredible. And does smell pretty incredible, which is tobacco, oud and vanilla. I'll be wearing that off to the last episode of Game of Thrones. Sadly, it's come to an end. But yes, so that's what I'll be wearing tonight. As usual, please like, comment and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you're interested in trying out Aaron Terence Hughes. It says there's a brand new UK-based independent perfumer. So, I mean, definitely check out his website. Check out his stuff on Bloom Perfumery's website as well. And find out a little bit about him because he's a fantastic guy and he's doing some really great stuff. I mean, obviously the packaging, very, very simple, and I really don't mind that, to be honest, because for a new perfumer, especially a new niche perfumer, I'd rather spend the money on the scents rather than sort of flashy packaging, because in the beginning it's kind of a waste of money, really. So yeah, I mean, concentrate on getting those scents right, and he's definitely doing a fantastic job so far. So right, besides liking and commenting, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, definitely do that. Hit that notification bell as well, that way you can be the first to know anytime I'm releasing a new video. Besides that, follow me on Instagram as well. You can keep up to date with my scent of the day, anything else that I've got going on, whatever the cats are up to, which I occasionally put in my stories, or if they're doing something crazy, I'll put it on the main page. Other than that, stay smelling fantastic. I look forward to seeing you very soon and hearing your thoughts on this one. And thank you very much for watching.